Chevra, welcome back to the Daily Dose. Continuing with the Ezahus of Benzoma. Ezahu Ashir, Hasamech v'chelko. Who is happy? He or she was happy. Who is wealthy? Who is wealthy? He or she was happy with their lot. As it says, Yigia kapecha ki tochel ashrecha v'tov lach. As it says in Pasuk in Tehillim, when you toil and you're able to benefit from the toil of your hands, ashrecha. There's happiness in that, and it's good for you. So this is another one of those counter-cultural ideas of the rabbis of the Torah, that the way that people measure wealth is by how much people have, right? And how much I don't have, based on all that they have. Wow, and that must be it. They must be happy. That's how people may look at the world, but that's clearly unattainable for 99.9% of the world. So why look at the world that way? How does that breed happiness? It breeds sadness, right? It's very sad. That's why, unfortunately, people walk around sad, right? Because they always wish that they could have more. They always wish they could be what the other person is or has, or they think they have, right? And what we clearly know is that, as Rabbi Akiva Tat says, Rabbi Eliyahu Dessler says, you could have someone who's wealthy beyond comprehension, and yet very poor. And you could have someone who's very poor, who literally just lives in, a meager lifestyle, barely makes a living, and is very wealthy. Why? Because it's about your frame of mind. A wealthy person, by definition, a person could have $10 million in the bank, but if all that person wants is another 10 million, right? Which is, the Pasuk in Kohelet says, right, that Yesh lo mana rotze matayim, right? You have 100, you're going to always want, that's a Gemara based on the Pasuk, right? You have 100, you're going to want 200. Oev kesef lo yisba kesef. A person who loves money is always never going to be satisfied with the amount of money they have, right? So that person actually, in actuality, is poor, right? Because they're not happy. They're not content with what they have. So they actually feel like there's choser. They're lacking in their lives because I may have this, but I don't have this, and I may have that, but I don't have that, and there'll never be happiness, right? Anyone who says to you, "I'm trying to find happiness," well, you're never going to find it. If you're always searching for happiness, you're not going to find it. Happiness you find without looking for it. It's about actually seeing it inside. Right? It's not running after the next thing. It's about actually internalizing, what I have. And that's why you could have someone who's poor, but they're rich because in their minds, they're not lacking anything. They're content. And my grandmother, Zichrona Lavracha, once heard this, and she wow, this is such a great bracha. I love this. And it's based on this play on words that we have here in the Mishnah from Benzoma, that the word ashir and osher, right? Ashrecha v'tovlach, as the pasuk says. Ashrecha, osher with an ayin and osher with an aleph, actually go hand in hand. Because you could have osher with an ayin, you could be very wealthy, but as we said, be very poor and not be happy. But you could also be, have osher, right, with an aleph, right, feel fulfilled, feel like the wealthiest person in the world. Why? Because you have your family and you have your health and you have the things that, that you have, whatever it is you have, you're appreciative of that. You're not lacking anything. And you have osher, you have osher with an aleph, even without the osher with the ayin. And the bracha my grandmother would always give is, you should have osher with an aleph and osher with an ayin. And osher with an ayin and osher with an aleph. Feel fulfilled, feel happy, and always just have what you need and feel blessed every single day.